Looks like the Chen pick has put that spanner in the works that I was talking about. MSKI, they took a lot of time for that fourth pick, but they will go for the Brewmaster. Great team fight, great offlaner. Very hard to contest in the laning phase. So TNC, they will now surely reveal to us what the game plan is here.
Yeah, they don't have. They still have quite a fair bit to work around. Again, it's still fairly open with this kind of draft. They do go with a PA, which
Okay.
I do like with a Chen. I think that's a pretty decent combination to have. You can amp up damage quite well. The PA can jump in and clean up easily. I'm gonna be a bit worried about PA up against Razor and PA up against Brewmaster. I think that's gonna be a bit iffy for TNC. We'll see if they can play around that well. That is a bit worrisome though.
Final bandits now for both sides, and we'll get to see how they finish things off. Not only that PA, however, I mean, apart from the Razor, you don't really see any decent counters towards it. Arguably, the Brewmaster can just keep her up in the Cyclone for a while, but usually you do see those PAs go for the BKB to make sure that doesn't happen. Static Link, really the only annoying thing I see so far for that PA. But at the same time, you generally can Blink Strike away from that and break the link anyway.
I think it's more of that when you blink in and Razors around you instantly just lose a lot of your damage.
I mean,
That's
a
the
very fair
main
point.
concern I have. I think you're also going to have to watch out for the Cinder Brewer. Because, that self-attack could really hurt someone like a PA.
Very good point. TNC Predator, one final ban before they reveal their mid, unless it is going to be the Leshrac. Overall, the support lineup between the Nyx and the Chen, do you feel like that's a fairly strong lineup to have in the support duo, or?
It feels alright. I think it really depends on how much this Chen can get done in the early to mid game. Of course, the Chen does tend to lose its effectiveness as the game goes on. So if they can get a good laning phase going, they can apply pressure on the towers. I think there's a lot of value in that support duo. Otherwise, as time goes on, you do lose a little bit of that utility on the Chen.
10 seconds remaining.
It has been made to rescale. It scales a bit better now, I guess, with the reworks they've thrown into it. But otherwise, I still feel like it's a hero with a timer that really emphasizes that early to mid game.
The final pickup from TNC, they will go with the Ember. Interesting pickup here. I mean, that Ember will be going up against the Razor if they do put him mid. I kind of doubt they will, but if they did, that Static Link is going to get some fair value up until at least the Ember hits that level 6 mark.
5 seconds remaining.
How do they finish? Yes?
There is a lot of versatility in TNC's draft. Like, as you mentioned, there's no real clear mid hero yet. The Ember Spirit, of course, and the PA can be run in mid, but the Leshrac as well usually goes mid, so you have a lot of flexibility with the lanes in these three cores. I'm interested to see what TNC does exactly. I'm gonna guess that it's maybe going to be the PA mid or Leshrac. We're gonna see the Ember Spirit safe, most likely, and the remaining hero to be on the off. I feel like when it comes down to it, though, your Leshrac is comfiest in the off lane out of all three of these heroes. Your PA can stand mid, doesn't need to be up too close next to that Razor. Although it looks like there is flexibility for MSKI as well. They close out with the Dragon Knight, and we're gonna find out soon. Okay, it is Moon in the DK, and it is Armel in the Ember Spirit. So that is the DK mid and the Ember Spirit mid. That should be fairly okay for both sides. Just rather fortunate that PA doesn't need to play up against that Razor, which, I mean, it would be annoying. Not really a wash, but it would be very annoying to deal with.
Did see Moon in the past couple of days playing that DK and did a very good job of it as well. Very hard to take down this DK, very tanky. Still. Should be it appears to be one of those matchups that tends to get very fast paced as time goes on. Because a lot of these heroes don't need that much time to get online. Like, most of them are at their peak throughout that mid to early late game. So you imagine there'd be a lot of action around the map, trying to establish that map dominance and control.
Yeah, definitely so. Again, I think on TNC's side, the only hero that you really want to see farm up is probably Gabby's PA. I'm not sure if he's going to opt for that Battle Fury build we've seen time and time again, or if he's going to go for a fast Desolator, or even something like a, I don't know, a Drums to just get himself going in that mid game. We will find out. Most likely he's going to go for that Battle Fury. I think you can afford to do that with Cuckoo and Armel taking the back seat in terms of hard farm. These heroes do come online fast once they hit 6. Their magic damage output is quite strong, so they're not going to depend too much on items. Granted, you still want something on these heroes. Like, you definitely can't fall behind, but it's fine for you to just kind of maintain parity where you can find it. The PA definitely wants to play ahead and use that network advantage to really start bursting people down in the backlines.
I guess the thing is, though, with the PA as well, John, is if TNC did find themselves behind at any stage, they could play that kind of delay game, and the PA is generally going to probably outscale the Razor and the DK anyway. So they do have that kind of security option, even with the Ember Spirit. So I would argue that MSKI probably have maybe a bit more pressure to try and really finish the game off faster than TNC would need.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with you on that. Their cores don't quite scale as well. I mean, DK and Razor would kind of have a point where further itemization can only do so much for them. Whereas over on TNC side, you have really great scaling with the PA and the Ember Spirit, and I think they're going to be able to do a lot towards the end game.
Jeez, for 1 second I thought Tims was trying to talk to me, John. I was like, what the hell did I do?
I was kind of confused. I was like, surely it's not you. No one knows you, Mike. No one knows me either, Mike.
Apparently somebody does, according to Twitter, John.
Very strange.
Sly dog, you.
Very strange, Mike. Strange things happen.
Both teams probably going to take the safe route. I can't imagine too much aggression for these bounty runes. Most teams have been really passive with these, just taking the 2 and leaving 2 for the other team. Then again, this is the low bracket final though, so yeah, no hold barred. In fact, there is going to be some aggression early on. Both teams trying to snag one off each other. Tim's actually copying a fair bit of damage, but he does get the bounty for himself. Although, look at those blocks from the Treants. Won't be enough. Tim's will be forced to probably run back to the fountain. Although, 3 mangoes actually, he could probably just regen himself up with the tango.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good again. Nyx still has pretty decent base regen, and on top of those 3 mangoes, you will really just go back to full fairly quickly. So, not too much loss for Tim's, and that does mean that they get a nice little gold start here for TNC. Just a slight boost to their laning phase.
I like this decision from Ajit to be up at the top lane on the Razor. Up against that PA. Make sure Gabby never really feels comfortable to go for those last hits. Make it extra hard by sapping that damage away. Well, you do see Cuckoo on that Leshrac down at bot lane. Be up against KP and Ninja Boogie. And of course, we'll have the support of Tims on the Nyx Assassin. This is one of those lanes that could get heated pretty darn fast. Especially if Tims can land a nice impale. And we did see that last game as well. From MSKI actually, where Raging Potato was landing some very nice impales. Followed up by the Leshrac stun. See how they deal with it.
As long as they can land that combination, it should be pretty strong. My one worry is that Ninja Bogey is going with a really aggressive build here. Does have that Blightstone and 2 Fair Fires up, so his right-click damage is really annoying to deal with.
The AU top lane, maybe the first blood here for the side of MSKI, though he will be able to juke out in the tree line, and the Chen will slowly be able to heal himself up, but we do have a pause coming out from Armel. A high ping issue going on.
It's a classic Southeast Asian problem. I want to say it's really ubiquitous amongst Philippine players, to be fair. Like, it tends to be very bad here. I wonder why, though.
You almost sounded like you took pride in that, John.
Well, no point in being sad about it.
That is true.
Being sad about it doesn't fix anything.
Well, I mean, you're
Might
telling
people will be proud about it.
You're telling an Australian person that your ping's bad, John. I mean, I can't imagine I'd feel too sorry for you.
Ah. uh, this is the classic pause, you know. And, you know, everyone's having a good time here. Just,
Well, it's good to see. Good to see that they're having a chat with each other and having some fun. They've both had long days as well, so they're probably both teams are pretty tired. Want to go have some dinner. And, of course, one of the teams will be celebrating after this series, John, so don't want to let the team down.
yeah, for sure. I wonder how these teams do celebrate after a match, Mike. You reckon they go for pizza or burgers, or you think a bucket chicken in the team house or something?
I imagine they do pretty much what any other Dota player would do, John. They probably just play more Dota, because we just never leave the game. We just pub games straight after this. I guarantee, if we add some TNC guys right now, or some MSKI guys right now, and one of those teams wins, I guarantee you they'll be in a pub game straight after this series.
Oh God, I mean, hey, you know, if everyone does love this game, of course, so
yeah,
I wouldn't blame it on these guys if they just wanted more. You know, they'd probably feel pretty hyped. And it's gonna be a while. It's gonna restart that router. Again, this is the great infrastructure of Southeast Asia at work, Mike. Truly a spectacle to behold, because quite frankly, you know, not many places in the world can really match just how spontaneously our internet decides to work.
Again, John, I'm from Australia, John. I like to disagree with you. I think we can contend with your country very easily. Perhaps the Olympics will host some kind of competition for that one day. I'm just joking.
The Lag Olympics?
I mean, it's the Olympics, John. It's not like they're going to last too much longer.
Brave words, Mike. Brave words. Ah.
Well,
but you reckon, Mike? You reckon? You know, I wonder what these teams will do if they go to Disneyland. You know, what's the first thing they'll do when they arrive off the airport, settle into the hotel? You reckon they'll have time to tour around, or have time to really enjoy the place, or it's straight to do it? I'm not sure. Like, you think they're just gonna spend all time in their hotel rooms scrimming?
Absolutely.
Or...
I mean, it is a major, John. It's a lot of money, a lot of DPC points on the line. I'd probably leave the rides till after we're done winning the major.
That's a winner's attitude, Mike. I like hearing that.
Thank you.
And that does make sense. Like, you know, who cares about all those rides? You can do them after the major. Just get there, nice, you know, change of scenery for playing Dota. Nicer hotel rooms, at least.
While we're waiting, John, I suppose we should give a shout out to the Reddit mods who have allowed auto chess to be talked about on the Dota subreddit. That's new news. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think that's auto chess, Mike. I think that's actual chess.
Oh, it's an April Fool's joke. Well, there you go. I'm the fool, aren't I? Oh, I
You're
see.
born today, Mike. It's a given.
Well, it is true. Happy birthday to me.
What a lovely way to spend your birthday, by the way. Just casting such a big, important game. Last qualifier for Southeast Asia. Isn't that a great way to spend your birthday, Mike?
It is the best way, John. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And in fact, we do have it unpaused. Thank God for that. We're getting slightly awkward in the Discord, John. Anyway, bot lane, Cuckoo. Give KP a celebration split earth. Mid lane, very even, John, as to be expected from the Ember and the DK. Just trading farm. No real kill potential at the moment from either side unless they do get someone roaming around, so things are going to be fairly stagnant in this mid lane.
Yeah, again, not much is going to go on here. The DK is fairly tanky. He can cop through most of Ember Spirit's damage. Even if DK does breathe fire, Ember Spirit will usually have the shield up in time, depending. And once that shield, you know, at level 2, it's not going to burn out from just level 1 breathe fire. So, a lot of hits being traded, but it's really not going to amount to too much. Both sides will just find a farm they can get with their skills, and that'll be basically it, really.
KP having a decent time down in that safe lane on the Brewmaster as well. Not really much they can do to contest that. I mean, the Leshrac Cuckoo try and do as much as he can, but he's still only level 2. I don't believe they've actually hit a solid impale on the Brewmaster either, but even if they did, probably wouldn't amount to anything. And in fact, here comes Ninja Boogie. Who are they actually going to go for, though? Like, he may have just rotated to support the Brewmaster. And they will get rid of those trains. Nice little bit of gold going to Cuckoo. And things will go on.
Yeah, it's fairly slow lane so far. I think both sides are playing rather conservatively right now. Just, you know, we're not seeing too many deep dives, too much aggression from either side. Just trading blows, and, you know, it's kind of to be expected. I feel like both sides are trying to get a feel for each other with these drafts. Although we are going to see slight aggression from TNC.
Raging Potato. Be okay. Again, Gabby just focusing on that farm right now, trying to catch up a bit because Arjit was being very annoying on that Razor with the static link. AU just keeping him healed up and healthy. It's like Armel is starting to fall slightly behind the DK in mid lane in terms of last hits, but that's, again, to be expected. Breathe Fire, very annoying in terms of getting those last hits as well. Moon is about to hit that level 6 mark, so you will see that DK form come out, and he'll start harassing that tier 1 tower relatively soon. Wonder when the rotations will come out for that mid lane as well, because you'd imagine pretty soon, right? Like, if the DK is going to hit level 6, you don't want to just allow him to do that chip damage in the tier 1. You'd rather get someone to roam over and help Armel try to pick up a kill early on.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, in my opinion, that we haven't seen any sort of rotation down mid, especially with something like the Chen. It looks like they are happy enough to just stack up and regen in this lane.
Tims, nice little steal on the bounty rune. TNC, looks like they will claim 3 bounty runes for themselves. And MSKI, they haven't picked theirs up, but it's still there. They'll be able to pick that one up later on. It does give him a slight net worth advantage, though, on the side of the Dire.
And again, just fairly even so far in this game. Less than 1k net.
Wei Yu gets rolled on. This could be the first blood going to the way of MSKI. He's been trapped in place, and Arjit should be able to find this, and he does. Nice little first blood coming out, and some very nice body blocks from Raging Potato to ensure AU could really go nowhere. Meanwhile, bot lane, they're going to try and get Ninja Boogie as the trade, and it looks like they should be successful, although those trains taking some of that Diabolic Edict, and now here comes Raging Potato once again. They're going to make the chase onto Cuckoo on that Leshrac. The roll will be blocked off by Tims. Can Tims get out of this situation? He does heal up relatively fast with that Tango. He will throw a double impale out as well with the follow-up stun from Cuckoo, and it looks like the side of TNC will at least be able to leave with their lives intact.
Yeah, pretty rough trade there. I feel like TNC does lose out a bit more, as we do have to expend a bit more reach in there to get out alive, so...
Ajit.
Yeah, that is some laning resources gone.
It was in trouble top lane. Unfortunately, Armel didn't go for any levels in the chain. Couldn't really hold him in place to deal any more damage, so he will return to the mid lane. Now, he does find himself, however, 12 last hits behind Armel. Excuse me, behind Moon. At this point, Moon does bring out the Dragon form and starts harassing that T1. In fact, Armel going to get rolled on. They will miss, but they'll get the silence, and now the stun as well. This could be a very nice kill, though. Armel, Sleight of Fist, Remnant. He'll barely get away. Raging continuing the chase. Can he find him? Meanwhile, Tim's just saving that T1 for the moment. Armel thinking about coming back in with that Remnant, but he'll go heal up first. A very nice dodge, though, from that Ember.
Definitely so. A bit too keen on the stuns coming out, I have to say, for MSKI. Maybe not quite stacked well enough, but I guess when you're dealing with something like an Ember, you do want to keep him as still as possible, not risk any of those small moments where he can Remnant out. So I think it's fair enough for MSKI to choose to do that. A bit of a wasted opportunity, but they do get a lot of chip damage on that tower. They force some responses from the supports, and that does open up their side lanes just a tad bit.
Dire are scanning.
It's like Ninja Boogie gonna start taking over the Dire jungle a bit. Farm up there. Meanwhile, top lane, Arjit gonna find himself in trouble. No help around either. He's got a lot of heroes on him right now, 4 even being committed for this, but it's a very important kill, and Armel will claim that for himself. He'll return straight back to the opposite side of the map. Pick himself up an Invis rune, although it looks like they may lose their tier 1 tower in the mid lane while all that was happening.
Bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Not sure who actually came out on top there, right? Because you lose a mid tower, which is so important. In fact, hold that thought, because Moon's going to be in trouble now. They'll chain him up. Tims is there with the impel, but he's going to land it. He will miss a nice juke from Moon, and here comes the Brewmaster, the Spike Carapace, keeping him alive with Kupu, and that double stun. Raging, trying to silence and slow Cuckoo up. Can they find anyone on the side of MSKI? Tim's gonna get stunned up, and it looks like that'll be the target for them. Although Armel sticking around and now flying, essentially. Although here comes the PA trying to find a trade. Moon will be the target. He is very tanky, however, and it's not going to be a very easy target at that. Cuckoo may end up losing his own life. KP making the chase. Moon still falling low, but no, not long enough. In fact, it is KP. Doesn't really want to die right now, but he is being chased, and Gabby with a very nice rotation, really setting up a couple for Armel to pick up on that Ember Spirit.
Yeah, again, nice movement coming out from TNC. Good response to that. You were asking if which team came out ahead with that trade. I think this time it's fair to say TNC does come out on top just a bit. They do lose that mid-tier 1, which is a lot of control and map on. But at the same time, they've managed to find kills on some really core heroes that they should be shutting down early on. So I feel like that's a fair enough trade to make. They can push out quite well anyway with her Chen, so eventually the push will be going for TNC, and it's not too worrisome to lose that mid-tier 1 at this point in the game against a DK. It's kind of to be expected. With the
They
DK
found the
in
Razor
game.
again, John. At the bounty rune spot, they will steal the bounty off him, although here comes KP to try and help out, but Gabby joins in the team fight. Cuckoo trying to get out, but he will end up falling, and the Shrine will be committed by KP. They'll go for Ninja Boogie instead. In fact, no, they won't. They may focus back on that Brewmaster. Raging Potato rolls in, gets the silence, gets the Boulder Smash as well, but Tims should end up falling. Gabby will find Ninja Boogie in the back lines, and now going to continue. Gabby is just having a lot of fun with this PA right now, not backing off whatsoever. They'll find another pickup on the side of TNC, and KP, he's got no Brewmaster split. He should be the next one to die. He is rather tanky, however, and Arjit wants to join in the party. Armel, Remnants are available, but he hasn't really got mana for them. Nevertheless, Cuckoo will join back into the team fight, and it looks like that'll be it for the moment.
Yeah, again, nice engagements coming out from TNC. I do like seeing this early aggression from Gabby. I'm sure it's the PA. A lot of players so far in this PA tend to enjoy farming a bit more, but Gabby's not afraid to leave his lane, find these kills, and really just buy some momentum for his team, which I feel like is really one of the strong points of the PA. You don't need too much farm to come online, and he's still going to hit a pretty decent timing on his Battle Fury. Not going to be the fastest, but he's still going to have it at a good point where he can really accelerate his farm and start becoming a big threat in these team fights.
Well, MSKI looks to match that aggression that TNC is bringing out right now. They will all rotate up to the top lane. Of course, again, with that Dragon Knight, when that Dragon form is off cooldown, you want to go for a tower push, although TNC aren't planning to just allow this. Raging will roll in by himself. This does a lot of damage to the Chen, and meanwhile Cuckoo is having the attack sapped out of him, although Arjit about to lose his life. Just one more attack and Armel will find it. Though Gabby doesn't want to lose his life right now. The blink is not available, however. They're trying to delay Gabby's death, and he gets out of there just barely. Though no, the Magnetize should tick him out. He will end up losing his life, and now the Chen goes down as well. Raging Potato really setting up some kills for his team.
Yeah, he's really doing a lot of work in this Earth Spirit, just having the foresight to land all of these skills, and even if they miss that Sprout, they still manage to get a crucial kill on Gabby. Really gonna put a bit of a hamper on this PA, who has been active early on, but now that activity is gonna start to, hurt a bit, as the farm is kind of tapering off for the PA. Gabby, in third place, but really far behind the DK of all heroes, so not the best time for Gabby, but at the same time, still third place, not too bad.
Looks like they'll try and focus down the tier 1 bot tower now. Armel does make his way there. Currently sitting at a 5-0, Armel doing a pretty good job, but most of those kills were set up for him by Gabby. And now can't really afford to die, but looks like he will be aware that MSKI did TP their way down. They do get scanned out by the side of MSKI, but it looks like there will be no rotation from the Radiant side to try and find these pickups, or will there be? No, they won't.
I really have to tell you, Mike, I'm finding this Chen's presence rather underwhelming. I remember a time when, we'd see a Chen, we'd see their early movements, really impressed with the early game impact. Right now, I'm just not seeing that same impact from AU, and I don't really think it's down to the nature of the rework of the hero. I think it's still fairly strong. I think it's just been the way TNC's been running it. It's been much more of a hard support, really trying to protect people more.
Oh, Tim's bot lane gets caught out and is going to get melted. Though no, he's not. The heal is there, but he's still down. They couldn't protect the Nyx assassin. Jid picks that one up for himself, and TNC again find themselves on the back foot. Will back off to safety, and we're now a 7-7, and the net worth is slightly the way of MSKI.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for MSKI to be in. Again, these guys did want a bit of a strong start. They have heroes that do come in line quite fast with the DK and the Razor, and having a slight lead like this is a good sign. Probably not the most dominant start, just less than 1k and even kill board so far. But, give them enough time and they will kind of start to get a bit wild. You're going to have the DK pushing towers fast. You're going to have a Razor really just standing up in the middle, soaking everyone's damage. And at that point, I do get a bit weird for TNC.
Another jump in. Gabby will be the target, and it's a very big one at that. Plasma Field will get the job done. KP picks that one up for himself now, an 8-7, and they can go straight after that top tier 2 tower. They're really putting a chokehold on that Battle Fury timing for the PA. He's kind of nowhere near it, and in fact, he's queued up a BKB now just after it. But I imagine he may just go for it before the Battle Fury at this point.
I'm not sure if you should get that BKB beforehand. I feel like your damage output is a bit lacking if you just go straight BKB at this point. I feel like you reprioritize that. Change that Battle Fury out if you can't hit a good timing on it. Go for something like a Yasha, go for a Desolator, something that can help you in these fights. At least help you burst that backline a bit more. The Battle Fury is still going to come out for Gabby, though. It does look like he wants to get that flash farm going, which is a fair enough thing to aim for. I just feel like you're going to be bleeding quite a fair bit of control away to MSKI while you're trying to farm that up.
Raging Potato. Walk past Tim's in that Vendetta. Boogie. TP in, but does cancel it off, and now they really want this Raging Potato kill. This assassin does reveal himself by taking the illusion rune. And it looks like there will be no kind of contest. Meanwhile, KP, bot lane will start pushing in another tier 1 tower, and I mean, at this rate, MSKI, they're going to really take all the outer towers quite fast if this keeps happening.
It's down to how their draft works. Again, you have the Nature's Prophet, you have the DK. Both of these heroes push quite well. The one thing I am worried about with TNC is that TNC pushes quite well as well. They have the Chen, they have the Leshrac. It's just not coming out yet for TNC. They've taken really a big back seat here. Much more comfy with farming in their jungle. Issue right now with that is that they are spotted out by all these wards. AU is starting to deward, trying to clear out that jungle bit, but for the longest time they were punished for staying in that jungle.
Got that blink initiation as well on the DK now, so Armel definitely not going to be feeling as safe on that Ember Spirit. Well, AU going to run into Ninja Boogie. Can't imagine anyone dying between those two, but just walk away to safety. You see a smoke being bought on Ninja Boogie, which does indicate that we'll see a gank attempt from them very, very soon. So they want to go for Armel, but they need that initiation from Moon. They're not quite sure if anyone's really behind him right now. For that time Armel did have, he does manage to pick up the full Maelstrom now. Well, Tim's That Nyx Assassin still looking for a target. He's going to try and set up into Arjit in the mid lane. This would be a very nice pickup for the side of TNC, and they do set up nicely. Now the follow-up stun from Cuckoo. Wrath of Nature will come in, but it really won't do much. They do come in from the side to try and fight this though, and they do go in. Although, is it really going to be enough? KP trying to chase Cuckoo. They will find a decent trade for their own end, and they go for even more now. KP, is he going to find anybody? Doesn't really look like it, but at the very least, they do trade POS 3 for POS 3.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough trade. That does help TNC just a bit more, I feel. As, you know, the PA is really needing a few more of these kills under belt. Gabby, not really too far behind now, just about 800 gold behind the DK. And that is mildly worrisome for MSKI, as that does mean, you know, they're really not in any sort of net worth lead at all. A negligible 1k, less than 1k lead for them. And this Battle Fury looks to be coming out sub 20 minutes, Mike.
Mel getting a nice pick off onto Ninja Boogie. And by the way, that point you just made about Gabby getting that Battle Fury, pretty darn nice timing considering, you know, he did die twice in a row and hasn't had the best of times as of late, but have that up relatively soon. Hey, you will be able to TP out in time before Raging Potato can throw a stun out. Cuckoo does manage to also find a T1 tower at the bot lane, and now Tim's looking to set up another kill into Arjit if he can afford to. They are currently focusing on getting that dominated siege creep, and Tim's has been caught out in the Sprout. Tries to run for it, but it looks like it's a guaranteed kill for the side of MSKI, though. Nice spike carapace. Cuckoo trying to help from the sidelines and a very nice impale. But now Cuckoo has overextended, and Moon knew someone was behind that Nyx Assassin. They may just pick up another for their trouble. Raging Potato, a very nice roll in. Cuckoo is almost definitely just dead here.
Yeah, really unfortunate for that movement again. We do see this coming out from Nyxus a lot. Like, if they're not used to being punished for that movement, they do tend to bleed a lot of gold out because they keep going for these risky moves. I do like MSKI's response here. They have had amazing coverage with their wards so far. So Tim's has not been able to be as effective as he'd want on this Nyx. And again, we've seen this time and time again where Nyx just keeps doing this. I wonder how long it will take for Tim's to take a backseat. He does have his own sentries now, so should be able to go on D-ward runs himself.
See the DK as well, John. Got the Shadow Blade up now, so Moon having a fantastic time on this map. Mind you, Gabby has taken over net worth now and does have the full Battle Fury up. He's going to be going for that BKB into the Desolator next. Mid lane, meanwhile, they are going to make a jump onto Armel, though. Nice stun from Tims to stop everything from occurring. The silence wears off, and he remnants the hell out of there.
Really unfortunate chain stun coming out from MSKI. Again, this Ember Spirit's really not the easiest target to go for here. Stuns are honestly not that great. You're probably going to have to rely on getting that, you know, Dragon Tail onto that Ember after after starting with the Silence from the Earth Spirit and the Rolling Boulder stun. Really going to have to hold the Ember Spirit down hard because you kind of lack in stuns. I mean, kind of lack in hard stuns like a Hex or something like that, instantaneous that comes out. None of those options are there for MSKI, which just means that if you're not careful, Armel will just get away every time.
See the siege creep and a normal melee creep getting the job done of de-warding that sentry ward near the mid jungle. Very nice play by them. MSKI didn't feel quite comfortable to walk up that high ground and take it out. MSKI, I wonder how long they're willing to kind of play a bit too passively before they feel like they're falling behind. You know, with these DKs and these raises, we talked about it in the draft, they will eventually fall off.
There's definitely a point where these heroes just stop scaling as well. I mean, compared to an Ember Spirit, who, you know, you could just stack Divine Rapiers at some point, transition to more of a physical damage role. A PA who just gets bigger and bigger, itemization and shifting around at last few slots of items.
Oh, Armel gets caught out mid lane. John, that's a big pickup from the side of MSKI, although no, he gets out.
What?
Barely getting out of there with his life. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at him.
What? He lived with a sliver of HP there. And I guess that's the Chen paying off. That Hand of God just bought him enough time to get that Remnant off.
Meanwhile, Gabby almost getting stunned up by Moon, but he didn't actually blink forward. And with that, MSKI not going to be too happy. They do try to go up top where Cuckoo is on the Leshrac, but he'll run into the tree line and probably TP away relatively soon. Now TNC smoke up. They know exactly where MSKI are, and they want to try and make something happen. Gabby has the full 10-second BKB available to go. He's farmed up very, very quickly considering that that earlier start he had. But it does look like MSKI will just back off to safety.
I am starting to get a bit worried about MSKI. Again, Gabby is starting to build up. They're starting to reach a point where PA gets a bit wild. Alright, the crits are going to be flying out. The level 3 crits will be flying out from the Stifling Dagger. Even from afar, you're not really safe. Once that Desolator is up as well, I think a lot of that backline is going to melt. The Nature's Prophet, not really the tankiest hero. Neither is the Earth Spirit. So those two heroes in the back will definitely disappear. And that's going to be issues for MSKI because they are relying a lot on on Raging Potatoes, Earth Spirit to land his stuns, to land his control on the heroes they have. And if he does get picked off relatively quickly, it takes a lot away from MSKI's fighting capability.
Suddenly TNC taking that slight net worth advantage once again off the side of MSKI. Look at that team net worth difference. MSKI had it for a fair bit, but TNC now holding it their way. They will go for the bot tier 2 tower now. Suddenly TNC the ones trying to establish that map control.
They do pull back though. I'm really curious about that. They popped the Diabolic Edict, but they decide to smoke up instead.
Yeah, well, it seems like they thought the Roshan was being taken. MSKI, they're going to run straight into them. They don't have Gabby with them, however. He can be recalled by the Chen, though, and they do jump in straight onto Moon. Can they burst him? Apparently, yes, they can. Gabby feeling no fear. In fact, Armel finding a secondary on Raging Potato, looking for more. They did run up to the northwest side of the map. Hims on the search with the Vendetta. He may find KP running around, and he will. KP going to be the third one dying for the side of MSKI. Doesn't look like he didn't actually use the primal split throughout that team fight either. He may have just not had the time to react, and well, that'll be a free Roshan going to the way of TNC now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good move coming out from them. Again, I feel like they might have been able to take that tier 2 as well, but they still take 3 clean kills and should be able to take this Rosh for free. It's going to be a massive boon towards TNC's side. Nice amount of gold coming in, and of course that second life on a hero like PA is going to be massive.
Well, with the Chen by his back, it's already hard enough to kill him, and a few lucky crits, and Gabby suddenly takes the Roshan. Starting to crit very hard as well. He's already at that level 20 mark, Gabby. Look in comparison to DK's at 16.
Yeah, he's definitely burned up way fast now. Gabby really just playing catch-up quite well. He does have the Desolator up as well, so that backline, which is already pretty squishy, isn't going to last too long anymore. Even the DK might feel the effects of that minus armor coming out from this hero, and you're going to start to have issues. Even talent, the level 20 talent coming out for the PA, additional -4 armor on every attack. That's a total of 11 armor being taken off, and that's massive for a hero like DK, who does rely on that bonus armor for his tankiness.
Top tier 1 tower. Gonna begin being attacked by TNC. And again, MSKI, they really haven't got much done in the last 10 minutes or so. I mean, I understand they've been on the back foot, but their draft kind of requires them to keep the aggression up. TNC, however, are the ones doing that. This draft from MSKI, I mean, one lost team fight from this point, and that's a Rack's probably gone.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to hold this high ground again. MSKI's lineup does have a point where they just kind of lose effectivity, and I think we're starting to slowly approach that point. Maybe around 40 to 45 minute mark is when, you really start to peak out in these heroes. That, with everyone's gold at that point, further itemization wouldn't really cover the gaps and the weaknesses of these heroes. Specifically the Razor and DK. Again, really strong early to mid game heroes, but come late game, they kind of change their purpose. They're not going to be the hardest carries in the world. And that's not really what you want to hear when you're facing off into scaling heroes like the Ember Spirit, like the PA. Even the Leshrac does have some scalability as well, as long as you manage to itemize.
MSKI. The initiation. They got one onto Tim's. They do spot him out with that Sentry Ward, and now Raging Potato wants to move forward and find more. TNC not interested whatsoever. They will back off. Gabby TPing out just in time as well. Tim's. At the very least, MSKI do hold out a bit longer for that tier 2 mid tower. Still though, I don't really feel like holding out's gonna really help the cause right now, but they are gonna try and go for a team fight. Moon has a new BKB of his own, so feeling rather confident. He's gonna get scouted by that sentry though. In fact, he will kind of just start showing himself by farming up.
Ninja
Boogie. Going for a D ward, not the right time, sir. You're all alone and you will have your life taken away from you. That's...
This reward transcends expectation.
That's a pretty keen move for that D ward. I feel like after you saw the heroes roaming around, I'm not sure why you'd walk back there for the D ward. They were in that general area, so a bit optimistic to get that done.
Good. Oh, he's gonna get caught out right now, although nice stun. He lost half his HP from one strike from Gabby. And Gabby...
That's a DK.
That is a DK.
Massive armor.
Yeah. Tanky, massive armor DK losing half his HP from one attack. Imagine that, John.
Yeah, that seems pretty balanced to me, Mike. No issues here.
Arjun. Gonna be the next target. Gabby does not blink in quite yet, although he's thinking about it. Just waiting for Tims to get a bit closer. Now we'll get started. Arjun, can he survive long enough? The Impel actually misses, but the Spike Carapace will get the job done. Arjun still falling, and he will fall. Now Gabby is just going to take out two with absolutely no problem. The rest of the players on TNC, John, just having a nap in the background, not worried whatsoever. Gabby will take care of it.
It's rather unfortunate that Raging Potato did opt to roll in right as the BKB went off, so kind of just offered himself to Gabby, I suppose.
They will lose a T2 tower out of that. Perhaps even more. I mean, you could try and force the buybacks with the Aegis you have on Gabby. It's not really like he needs the Aegis at this point anyway, but they'll get started. Fortification will come out. Ninja Boogie will TP his way back down to the fountain. TNC, I mean, do you even back off while you're holding that Aegis? Gabby does decide it is the safer option. He didn't have the BKB available at the time.
That's some pretty good timing from TNC as well. The Aegis just expired right then.
Very nice timing indeed. Of course, they do go straight to that bot shrine. Just surgical from TNC, understanding exactly what they need to do. One outer tower left as well, and it's very low HP, so they'll just take that with the creeps and just pretty much just reset, right? Like there's no real need for TNC to rush this game.
Yeah, again, they scale much better into that late game. They've already taken one tier 3 tower. MSKI is already starting to taper off in terms of what your heroes can do. The DK, of course, actually looking quite squishy. And that's a DK facing off against PA. It doesn't look like it can actually tank too much, so it is a bit worrying for MSKI here. Again, 10k net worth deficit right now, going the way of TNC.
Oh, and now Moon gets caught out. A smoke rotation. They try to go for a smoke of their own, and now the BKBs, but TNC immediately back out and wait. The Cuckoo has been caught, and looks like he will end up losing his life, though. No, Armel thinks about going back in. Not quite yet, Tims. Nice impel there. Can they deal the damage? Cuckoo does buy back, and Armel is literally taking on 5 heroes by himself right now. He does find Raging Potato. Tims will go down. Gabby, he'll get started. It looks like one's about to get taken out. Now, the Sprulings are also going down. Armel cleaning up in the background, and it's only Moon left. Oh my. TNC, they've got some magic going on right now, John. They're making people disappear. It's
a reverse Houdini, if you might say.
Yeah. Quite quick as well. I mean, how long was Armel just taking on 5 people?
That was quite a fair bit of time. I feel like when MSKI jumps someone like Cuckoo, honestly, at this point, TNC doesn't really care. I mean, Cuckoo's on Leshrac that is pretty much playing far behind the 2 cores of MSKI. He's really just here to amplify that push and maybe serve as a distraction. When he can get that stun off and the control off, it's amazing. But even if he doesn't, I feel like it's not key to TNC's game plan right now. I think what MSKI really need to do is somehow isolate Armel or Gabby. But that's a very tall order to ask for, as these 2 guys have been gapped out just nicely. So it's going to be a bit of a hard time to really catch these 2 heroes off guard, I think. But that's exactly what MSKI needs to do. So it's not going to be an easy time for MSKI. But, you know, the tools are still there. They just need to be able to find the right targets in these engagements.
Look at Gabby. Waiting for his next target. Oh, spot out some in the mid. There's 3 heroes right now, but Gabby's moving towards them. Raging Potato, the poor guy, will not get crit.
Just a bit of a threat, Mike. It's the implication.
Yeah. Gabby again thinking about going in right now. Jid, oh, he's going to get Spike Carapace, and now Gabby jumps in. No crits yet, but there it is. He gets melted. Now, KP trying to go after Tims once again with that Nyx Assassin, but Gabby is ruining everyone else. They get rid of 1 at the very least, but now they're going to lose all the heroes on the side of MSKI, or are they? The buybacks are coming out wherever they are. Moon trying to find everybody, but it's not going to help the cause. Armel is now godlike and on a double, and that will be the GG. They'll find 1 more. KP gonna get caught out. Gabby, 1 more time for good measure. That'll be a 1-0 for the side of TNC, John. The favorites do pull through for the first game.
Yeah, again, pretty clean game coming out from TNC. MSKI managing to find, you know, small victories here and there, drawing even in that early to mid game, but just really tapering off towards that late game. Not really managing to get enough momentum in the mid game. I feel like they might have taken a bit too much time to try to find farm parity and just not really force the issue around the map. Whereas TNC, you know, if the game gets delayed, their lineup really just comes online faster. So a bit unfortunate for MSKI. Hopefully they fix that issue in the next game, and very well played from TNC.
Well, with that, John, we are into the next lobby. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the next game won't take too long to start. Should only be a few minutes. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the final series of the night. And, well, game number 2 coming up rather soon. We'll be right back.